One of the best things about More Money Now and the prosperity strategy and approach to life, as opposed to chasing money and results, is that this feeling of prosperity becomes the completion, not the metrics being achieved in the marketplace. Those come as a result of what you're doing as you figure out your unique product, which you can think of as a purpose, and then you're connecting into the marketplace as you really are, and then allowing yourself to share that with the world in an open way. That's ask. And then finding a shared desire with people who mean something to you and you mean something to them. And you build that core, that pearl at the center around your business. And then finally, at this last step of More Money Now Next, feel arrival. Know that you no longer have to go out and chase business anymore. That it's not about trying to build the business, it's not about trying to get business. You don't have to think about it anymore because you have product market fit and you're surrounded by your people and you're doing what you want to be doing anyways, which you do even if nobody paid you. This is what happened with me after a lifetime of chasing money. I've been in the professional chasing money business, if you really want to think about it that way, either as a business developer or an entrepreneur, where I ran a sales company. I've been doing it my whole life. I've had multiple sales companies and multiple business developer positions. And if I look at the theme of all of them, it was always about chasing money and the feeling if I can just get enough money, then I'm done. And that turned out to be wrong because there's never enough money to feel complete and feel done, because you can't get that from business success. You get that from realizing business success, from bringing who you are into the world in the form of a product and connecting with the right people on your own terms, only doing what you want to be doing and never compromising on anything, because a guru and their how to method distracts you and starts to feel attractive because you want what they have. When you really don't, you want what you want to have. And that comes from people, and that comes from finding your product market fit in the market with people where they have their vision, you have your vision. You're not trying to change each other. You have a shared desire around what matters because it matters to all of you. And they're going to pay you because you've created a good experience for them. It doesn't matter what the conditions of these things are, whether it's coaching or services or some kind of an entrepreneur software company. It makes no difference. The process for More Money Now is really the same. So, what do you need to be able to do? You have to have a consistent presence. So, if you build it, they will come, but you have to be visible. And you have to be visible in some kind of a clarity, and that you're connecting consistently, and that you're asking the right questions of yourself as you're going and of them. And you're allowing them to see the real you and what you really have. And you're seeing them. You're not just talking at them through marketing or sales. You're actually there and connecting with them. And that schmooze. And now we're in next. And next is about stable revenue on your own terms without compromising anything. This is what's happening with me. Took a while, but you'll find your own way. And in the past, I was able to get business in a couple of months typically. It didn't take 4 years like this one, but this because it's such a big vision. So if you have a massive vision, you'll have time, because you wouldn't have such a big vision if you didn't have time. The vision's going to happen if you allow it to happen and get out of your own way, and it's for the right people for the right reasons. If your vision is more modest at this point, do it, and it'll expand over time when you get stable revenue, and that'll help a lot with your life condition. So, what's the pathway? Speed, focus, and results is what we're doing now. The learning approach is the last mile is the hardest in some ways, because you could do everything I just said great and get at the end a bad result because you start forcing the result because you feel like, or at least I did, What if it doesn't work? So there's a feeling of wanting to go back to my old tricks of marketing, persuasion, prospecting, sales, trying to get people to like me, trying to get people to want what I have, trying to figure out what their pain is so I can find a way in, overcome the objection, and close the sale. And the learning approach here is to release the things that are in the way. And that's never mindset work, that's inner work. That's understanding your beliefs and the barriers, that the burdens that come from those belief systems, releasing them, the stuck places inside your body where the fear is, and doing things energetically that release that fear, of being able to communicate more clearly, where you're talking with people with emotional intelligence and connected conversation as opposed to selling and talking at them. And then the more mysterious element around releasing yourself from the attachments and burdens of life that are weighing you down and holding you back. And doing that, not working on your business and your mindset at this next stage, and letting that prosperity feeling expand as you lower what I'm calling the parking brake in those areas I just described, you're going to start seeing things really happen. Speed, focus, and results is what it's all about when you start getting that trajectory and vision going in the right direction. Planning is planning to be in the moment. So planning just means with more money now is you're in the moment doing the thing you're doing. And the planning is saying, I don't need to know how to. I don't need to know how this is going to work. I don't have to predict the future. All I have to do is expand the vision, stay in the feeling of prosperity, and continue working through the 5-step stage more money now process. Now, for some of you, it's going to be necessary to expand into the red pill pathway because there's more you may need there to really understand your thoughts, your actions, and the impact you want to make, particularly as that vision expands. So, more money now integrates with the 8-stage red pill pathway. Now, planning to me just means I'm noticing my mind. This is the 3-legged stool. So I notice my mind, I notice the market, I notice what's going on, I notice the impact of the world on me, I notice my parking brakes as they come up, and I make adjustments in the moment. So as I'm noticing, I see issues, I make adjustments, but I stay in it. And then I see where the new impact is. That's called calibrate. That's the third part of the stool. So somebody like an Eisenhower, who was a general, was pretty good at this, because you could have all the plans in the battlefield, all in the office as the general, but when you get on the battlefield dictates the tactical decisions. And that's a ready, fire, aim approach. So you're preparing to launch into the marketplace that's going to want to crush you, and preparing, getting ready, and then firing allows you to come back and aim. So you come back to yourself and you come back to your group. If you need a group, it's very important to have a group to do this with, and a way to aim, to learn how to aim, which is retreat from the market. Get ready, prepare the condition through product and what's the connect approach, and know how this works, and then get out there, fire, boom, you're in ask, you're in schmooze, you're out there, and you're in next, like we're talking about here. And then as you're doing it, you got your 3-legged stool, but you got to come back to the group sometimes and say, boy, I'm aiming in the wrong direction. And I want to keep going, but don't keep forcing it. That idea of, don't give up at the finish line doesn't work if you don't know what the finish line is. The biggest way to fail is not to be able to handle the uncertainty and the feelings that come up. So, holding the feeling states. So, there's a mental state, there's an emotional state, and there's a spiritual flow state. Those 3 states are set from, I would say, from the idea of you even existing all the way through to being 21 years old as your personality is forming. And the fear that's carried forward of unresolved mental patterns, emotional patterns, and energetic bindings and constrictions inside your body, spiritual is what that's called, in combination guarantees failure if you allow them to run you. And that's called allowing your mind to be in control. And a big part of the red pill pathway are ways to deal with that. And that kind of work for some people can be really, really important. And if you don't do that, you're guaranteed failure because you're going to be out in the marketplace all bound up in these issues, confusing yourself and other people. It's all about fear. It's all about fear. And it's not fear for me of jumping into the swimming pool. And if you're an entrepreneur, it's probably not for you either. It's it's so that we do not fear the unknown. I'll go do it, but we fear what we think we know about the unknown. And that is to think that inside me, inside you, there's a monster. There's a smoke monster, we call them in our community. And the smoke monster is what's going to get you. So it's the hidden dark secret in the closet that we're avoiding as human beings. And to realize it's a friend. It's not, there's no fear. There's nothing to fear but fear itself. And learning that experientially in your body ends up being the work. I call that releasing the parking brake. I don't care how many billions of dollars you get, how many stages you've been on, how much success you've had in the world, and how recognized you've been for how great you are. If you don't release that fear and lower the parking brake, whatever it is that's motivating and driving you in the mental plane of thinking, the emotional body of feeling, and the spiritual condition of binding restriction and energetic block, you're going to be in fear, and your life is not going to work out the way you want. The idea of calendar management is is a bit confusing in a way because feels like it is confusing. So in other words, and I've written some articles about this because it's difficult to explain, but the feeling of this feels right, but I don't want to do it means do it. The feeling of this feels wrong and I feel like I must do it means it's wrong. It's reversed. This is very, very confusing. This is called discernment. So there's two conditions here. One is this feels right, and God, I don't want to do it. Do it. You have to. You're the only one. That's willpower. You must use your willpower. But the other one is this doesn't feel right, but I feel like I should do it, and I must do it or I won't succeed. That's an indication not to do that. Not to do that. Now, the calendar means you're putting the work in, but the work may be on a day, go feel your feelings. That could be the work. Go take a walk in the woods. Stop trying to get business. Or get out of the woods. Don't meditate anymore or whatever you're doing. Get out in the marketplace and get beat up a little bit. Maybe that's the work. You're the only one who can know this. Understand your own discernment abilities and deepen them. So the next trap is disappearing from the thing you're supposed to be doing. And oh, my so the way I'm best going to explain this is around as you're finding yourself, you're finding your unique path forward. You're the only one who can know. Do never ever listen to a guru who tells you how to do anything. They can't know because they're not inside you. So your method is your method. It's your responsibility to find the method. But use your calendar can be the trap because you're forcing yourself to do something that feels wrong because you think you should, because you misinterpret me or someone else who's been successful and want what they have, and they don't have what you want. You want what you have to get for yourself. So you're the one who's got to decide, how am I going to do this? As opposed to forcing yourself because it's on the calendar. Maybe the calendar needs to be adjusted, or maybe it doesn't. Again, this is the challenge of discernment. So how do you know how you're doing with next? First, did I execute my plan today? Second, was my attention on the market? And third, can I write down what happened? Did I execute my plan today means, did I do the thing I said I was going to do? And did I realize that I did hard things that I didn't want to do because it felt right? Or did I execute my plan of discernment, being a discerning person, of not doing the thing that I thought I had to do because it felt wrong? That's how you evaluate it. And maybe I'll evaluate it every day at the end of the day. That's what I did that for a few years. Second was my attention on the market. If you're out in the market, your attention has to be on the market. Your awareness is on yourself. Self awareness is the emotional, mental, and spiritual connected awareness of being in your own body and knowing through discernment, this is what I want and this is what I don't want. This feels right to me. This doesn't feel right. This resonates for me. This doesn't feel resonant with me. This person cannot form a shared desire with me at the schmooze phase, or they can. That's awareness. But your attention, if you're out in the market, needs to be on the market. In other words, you're not talking at people, marketing at them, selling at them, or prospecting to them to get what you want, but you're paying attention to them and connecting with them. Then can I write down what happened? We fool ourselves. There's something about taking the thing outside and witnessing it. The power of the group does that if you're willing to be honest in the group with yourself and be witnessed. And the group can't have people with really strong opinions, beliefs, or convictions that they're imposing on other people. If you're in a group like that, you can't write down what happened with them because you're going to hold back, because you're protecting yourself from their opinions. Particularly if you're in a group of really successful people, because often people like this are not as successful as they think. They've mastered the domain of business, but they haven't mastered themselves. So they don't realize they're projecting their own condition onto you. And you're listening to them, adopting it as true because you're in a low moment where you're trying to figure out what's going on. I've been in this many times. And everyone jumps in and starts telling me what to think. And sometimes I said, tell people to shut up, or I'll leave the group. And now this isn't a problem for me anymore because I don't go to groups like that anymore. So what's the outcome? The outcome's profitable revenue for you on your own terms. So the problem with this statement is, what if I don't want to solve rich people's problems? They pay better. What does pay mean? Pay is an energetic exchange. Prosperity is a feeling. And it's followed by having everything I need because I'm resourceful and prosperity provides. And I use this quote from a guru to help you understand because it's such conventional wisdom and it's so wrong that it tricks the mind into thinking I have to chase money and do things that get money. Profitable revenue is profitable because everything's lined up. So what you're doing is right for you at the product stage. Step one's product. That product's got to fit you. It will be profitable because you're going to think through, how do I want this to end up? You start at the end. What kind of life do I want? Now that's more red pill pathway kind of stuff. And then you're connecting based on your own terms. So maybe you don't want to be around rich people. You want to be around people who don't have a lot of money. Then you're figuring out by connecting with them and asking them to figure out their life condition, your life condition, where's the resonance, where's the shared desire, and then you will find a way to make the living you want to make on your own terms in that marketplace. If you release yourself from fear, lower that parking brake, deepen those relationships with shared desire, and then move into next, which is knowing you got the stuff and you have product market fit. And now it's a matter of really going through it. And speed, focus, and results is where you are at next. Now, these are iterative processes, so this doesn't necessarily happen overnight. So being fully human is really about being authentic, not learning how to become authentic from an authenticity book or course or something. It's the trap of productivity and efficiency and success and KPIs and metrics is often distracting us from finding ourselves. In other words, finding our product, finding our connect method, finding our ask method, finding our schmooze method, and getting to next, which means I'm in charge of my business and my life, and no one can dissuade me on impact My heat shields are so strong and in place that I'm fully present, open hearted, open minded, spiritually open and flow in the marketplace, even when other people are not liking what I'm doing or ignoring me. And that's what next is. And it's an infinite experience. And the red pill pathway gets more deeply into this, but this is a good way to start. And some of you never will need that. The more money now will be enough. So, how do you quick start it? Review your sprint at the end of the week, evaluate your progress, and plan over the weekend for Monday. And we talked about evaluation is review what you did actually really did by thinking about these questions here next. You might want to take a screenshot of that and then evaluate your progress with the group and with yourself with the group by being honest with yourself and letting the group not project onto you. You have to be in the right group. Otherwise, people are going to be telling you their interpretation through their opinion, belief, and conviction about what you did. It's going to totally screw you up. And then plan over the weekend for Monday is get deep with yourself so you deepen your awareness and your ability to pay attention into the market. So I'm releasing tactics that are not how-to steps, but will feel like they are. And the key is to be inspired by them, but don't copy them. And after a lifetime of doing these things, starting when I was 21 years old, all I'm going to do is just look at every possible way I can think of to connect with people and provide that to the market and then be inspired by them, but don't copy them, not because it's in my intellectual property, but because it won't work for you, because you have to find your own way through it.